I sent his wife $800 every month for 4 years. I never asked what she used it for. I just wanted her to remember that she was still part of us. Then my neighbor told me to stop. She said I needed to check the camera first. I did not understand what she meant. I had installed the doorbell camera 2 winters ago because the porch steps were icy, and I wanted to see if anyone slipped. I barely remembered how to open the app. My daughter had set it up. I used it maybe twice when a package went missing, but I opened it that afternoon. I sat at my kitchen table with my phone, and I went back through the recordings. I did not know what I was looking for. I just kept scrolling. And then I saw her. She was not coming to visit. She was not knocking. She was just leaving something on the mat and walking away. I watched her do it 3 times in 1 year. 3 envelopes. 3 cards I had saved on my refrigerator, because I thought they meant she still remembered me. If you are still here, thank you for listening so patiently. My name is Lorraine. I am 67 now. Some memories do not come all at once. They return slowly. Usually when someone is kind enough to listen. If you would like to hear the rest of the stories when they find their way back, you can stay with me here. And before we go on, tell me something quietly. Have you ever given something to someone who stopped needing you long before you stopped giving? My son died in March. 4 years ago this spring. His name was Kevin. He was 31. He had been married for 6 years when it happened. It was not sudden in the way people think. He had been sick for 8 months. We knew it was coming. But knowing does not prepare you. You still wake up the next morning, and the world has a hole in it that was not there before. His wife was named Shauna. She was small and soft-spoken. She had a round face and she wore her hair in twists most of the time. She worked at a dental office doing billing. Kevin met her at a cookout in Baltimore. That is where they lived. I was still in Philadelphia then. After he died, she stayed in their apartment for a while. I did not know what else to do, so I started sending her money. It felt like the only thing I could still give him. $800 on the 1st of every month. I set it up through my bank, so I would not forget. She thanked me the first few times. Then she stopped mentioning it. I thought maybe it embarrassed her. I did not mind. I just wanted her to be okay. I did not see her much after the funeral. She said she needed time. I understood that. Grief is private. You cannot rush someone through it. But I called her on his birthday that first year. I called her on the anniversary. I sent her a card at Christmas. She always answered. She always said she was doing fine. Her voice was always tired. I did not push. The first year after Kevin passed, I did not leave my house much. I went to work at the school where I had been a cafeteria manager for 16 years. I came home. I watched television until I fell asleep on the couch. I did not cook the way I used to. I did not go to church the way I used to. My daughter called me every Sunday. She lived in Baltimore with her husband and my grandson. She kept asking me to move closer. She said I should not be alone. I told her I was fine. I told her Philadelphia was my home. But really I just did not have the energy to pack up a life and start over somewhere new. I thought about Kevin every day. I thought about the last time I saw him in the hospital. He had lost so much weight that his wedding ring kept sliding off his finger. Shauna had to take it home so he would not lose it. He told me he was not scared. He said he just wished he had more time. I told him I knew. I held his hand until he fell asleep. 3 days later he was gone. I moved to Baltimore myself about 2 years after Kevin passed. My daughter had been asking for so long that I finally ran out of reasons to say no. My grandson was starting middle school. I wanted to be closer. I wanted to be part of something that was still growing. I found a small house near Hampton. It had a porch and a backyard with a chain-link fence. The steps were steep, but I managed. The kitchen was narrow, but it had good light in the mornings. I could see the street from my living room window. Shauna lived maybe 20 minutes away. I thought about visiting more often once I moved. But I did not want to intrude. I told myself that if she needed me she would call. She did not call. I kept sending the money. Every month. The bank would send me a confirmation email, and I would glance at it, and then delete it. I thought of it like watering a plant you cannot see. You trust it is still growing somewhere. I wondered sometimes what she spent it on. Rent probably. Groceries. Maybe she was saving some of it. I did not ask because I did not want her to feel like she owed me an explanation. It was a gift. That is what I told myself. Gifts do not come with conditions. My neighbor was a woman named Diane. She was older than me by a few years. She had lived on that street for 30 years. She knew everyone. She brought me a pound cake the week I moved in, and she told me which trash men actually took bulk items, and which ones left them on the curb. Diane did not ask many questions, but she noticed everything. She knew I had a son who passed. I told her that much when she asked about my family. I did not tell her about Shauna. I did not tell her about the money. But Diane had a way of seeing things without being told. One afternoon in late September she came to my porch while I was sitting outside with my coffee. She had her arms crossed. She looked uncomfortable. She said she did not want to be in my business. But she thought I should know something. I asked her what. She said she had seen Shauna at the grocery store 2 weeks earlier. She was with a man and a baby. I did not say anything right. I just looked at her. Diane said the baby looked about a year old. Maybe younger. She said Shauna looked happy. She said the man had his arm around her while they were looking at produce. I nodded. I said that was good. I said I was glad she was moving forward. Diane looked at me for a long moment. Then she said she thought I should check my doorbell camera. I did not understand what she meant. I said Shauna had not come by. Diane said she knew. That was the point. I went inside and I sat down with my phone. I felt strange. I felt like I was doing something wrong even though I was just looking at my own camera. I opened the app. I went back 2 weeks. Then 3. Then a month. Nothing. I went back further. I scrolled through hours of footage. Me leaving for church. Me bringing in groceries. The mail carrier. A dog that came up on the porch twice. A teenager selling something for a school fundraiser. Then I went back 6 months. That was when I saw her. She pulled up in a small red car I did not recognize. She got out. She was wearing jeans and a light jacket. Her hair was different. It was shorter. She walked up to my porch slowly. She had something in her hand. I could not tell what it was at first. She leaned down. She set it on the mat by the door. Then she stood up. She looked around. She looked directly at the camera. She did not know it was recording. She stood there for a moment. Her face was calm. She did not look sad. She did not look guilty. She just looked like someone dropping something off. Then she turned and walked back to the car. She got in. She left. I paused the video. I went back and I watched it again. The thing she left was an envelope. I remembered that day. I had found the envelope when I came home from the grocery store. It had my name on it in handwriting I did not recognize. Inside was a thank you card. It said she appreciated everything I had done. It said she was thinking of me. There was no money inside. No picture. Just the card. I had kept it on my refrigerator for 2 months. I went back further in the footage. I searched by date. I looked for any time a red car appeared. I found her again 5 months before that. Same car. Same walk up to the porch. Same envelope left on the mat. I found her a third time 8 months before that. 3 visits. 3 cards. I had sent her $800 12 times that year. I sat there at my kitchen table, and I did not move for a long time. The sun came through the window and made a square of light on the floor. I watched it move across the tile. I thought about the baby Diane mentioned. I thought about the man with his arm around her. I tried to picture what Shauna's life looked like now. I tried to imagine what she did with the money every month. I did not feel angry. Not yet. I just felt far away from something. That night I could not sleep. I lay in bed and I stared at the ceiling. I kept thinking about the way she looked at the camera. She did not look nervous. She did not look like someone hiding something. She looked like someone completing a task. I got up and I went into the kitchen. I made tea even though I did not want any. I just needed something to do with my hands. I thought about all the times I had called her in the past 2 years. Maybe 6 times total. She always answered. She always sounded pleased to hear from me. She always said she was doing okay. She asked about my daughter. She asked about my grandson. She laughed at the right moments. But she never said anything real. And I had never noticed. I did not call her right away. I did not know what I would say. Instead, I looked at my bank records. I went back for years. I printed them out because seeing them on the screen did not feel real enough. I added it up with a pencil on the back of an envelope. $38,400. I stared at the number. I had known it would be large. But seeing it written out made it real in a way it had not been before. I thought about what I could have done with that money. I thought about the trips I did not take. I thought about the new roof I kept putting off. I thought about the time my daughter needed help with my grandson's braces. And I told her I was stretched thin. I had been stretched thin because I was sending money to someone who did not need it anymore. Or maybe she never needed it at all. I thought about what Kevin would have wanted. I thought about the kind of man he was. He was generous, but he was not foolish. He would have wanted me to take care of his wife. But he also would have wanted me to take care of myself. I did not know if I had done either of those things correctly. Diane came by again a few days later. She asked if I had checked the camera. I told her I had. She did not ask what I found. She just nodded. Then she said Shauna had moved. She said she had seen a U-Haul at her apartment complex about 3 months ago. She said someone told her Shauna was moving in with her boyfriend. I asked if she knew where Shauna went. Diane said no. But she said the man she saw her with had Virginia plates. I thanked her. I told her I appreciated her telling me. She looked at me carefully. She said some people do not want to be part of your life anymore, but they do not know how to say it. She said sometimes they just start fading, and they hope you will not notice. I nodded. She said that did not mean I had done anything wrong. I told her I knew that. I was not sure if I believed it. I did not cancel the payments right away. I told myself I needed time to think. But really I just did not want to let go yet. Letting go meant admitting that the last thing connecting me to Kevin was gone. I kept sending the money for 2 more months. I did not hear from her. I did not expect to. November came and the leaves piled up in my yard. I raked them into bags and I left them by the curb. I went to Thanksgiving at my daughter's house. I smiled at the right times. I held my grandson while he told me about his basketball team. But the whole time I was thinking about Shauna. I was thinking about the red car and the envelopes and the baby I would never meet. In early December, I finally called my bank. I told them to stop the automatic transfer. The woman on the phone asked if there was a problem with the account. I said no. I said I just did not need it anymore. She said she understood. She said it would take 1 business day to process. She asked if I wanted confirmation. I said no. She canceled it while I was still on the line. It took less than 2 minutes. When I hung up, I sat in my kitchen. And I cried for the first time since the funeral. I cried so hard that my ribs hurt. I cried until my face was swollen. And I could not breathe through my nose. I did not even know what I was crying for. Maybe I was crying for Kevin. Maybe I was crying for the money. Maybe I was crying because I had spent 4 years trying to love someone who had already walked away. I did not try to find Shauna after that. I thought about it. I thought about hiring someone or searching online or asking Diane if she had any other information. But I did not. I realized that knowing where she was would not change anything. It would not bring Kevin back. It would not make her love me again if she ever had. It would just give me something new to be sad about. And I had enough to be sad about already. A year went by. Then another. I stayed in Baltimore. I spent more time with my daughter and my grandson. I started volunteering at the library on Thursdays. I read to children in the morning, and I shelved books in the afternoon. It was quiet work. It was easy. I kept the house clean. I kept myself steady. I went to church again. I joined a group for women my age who met once a month to talk and eat, and sometimes just sit together without saying much. I thought about Shauna sometimes. I wondered if the baby was walking now. I wondered if she ever thought about me. I wondered if she had ever really needed the money or if she just took it because I kept giving it. I did not have an answer. I probably never would. One Thursday at the library I was shelving books in the back corner when I noticed something. There was a young woman sitting at one of the tables with a baby on her lap. The baby was maybe 2 years old. The woman was reading to her quietly. I do not know why I stopped to watch them. Maybe it was the way the woman held the baby. Maybe it was the way she smiled when the baby reached for the page. But I stood there for a moment, and I realized something I had not let myself think before. I realized that I had been sending Shauna money because I needed to believe she still needed me. Not because she asked for it. Not because she could not survive without it. Because I could not let go of the feeling that I was still taking care of Kevin. And when she stopped needing that from me, I kept sending it anyway. Because stopping would have meant admitting he was really gone. Last spring my daughter was helping me clean out the closet in my hallway. We found a box I had packed when I moved from Philadelphia. I had not opened it since. Inside were pictures from Kevin's wedding. There were programs from his funeral. There was a stuffed dog he had when he was 7 that I could not throw away. And there was a letter. It was in Shauna's handwriting. It was dated 2 months after he died. The envelope was wrinkled. It had been opened and closed many times. I did not remember getting it. I opened it carefully. The paper was thin. It had been folded and unfolded so many times that the creases were starting to tear. She wrote that she did not know how to thank me. She wrote that the money I sent was helping her keep the apartment. She wrote that she did not know what she would do without it. She wrote that everything felt impossible and I was the only person who made her feel like she could survive. She wrote that Kevin had always said I was the strongest person he knew. She signed it with her name and a small heart drawn in blue ink. I read it 3 times. Then I folded it back up. I put it back in the box. I did not say anything to my daughter. That night I lay in bed and I thought about what strength really means. I thought about how I had wanted to take care of her, because I could not take care of him anymore. I thought about how I had kept sending money long after she stopped needing me to. Maybe long after she stopped even thinking about me. I thought about how love does not always look like what we want it to look like. Sometimes it looks like letting go. Sometimes it looks like stopping. I saw Diane at the grocery store a few weeks ago. She was buying strawberries. I was buying bread. She asked me how I was doing. I told her I was fine. She asked if I had heard from Shauna. I said no. I said I did not expect to. Diane nodded. She said that was probably for the best. Then she said something I did not expect. She said she was sorry for telling me to check the camera. She said maybe I would have been happier not knowing. I thought about that for a moment. Then I told her no. I told her I was glad she told me, because now I could stop waiting. I do not send Shauna money anymore. I do not call her. I do not look for her. But sometimes I still think about that letter. I think about the heart she drew next to her name. I think about the baby I never met. I think about the man with the Virginia plates. I think about the doorbell camera and the 3 envelopes she left on my porch, when she could have just called. And I think about the fact that I kept giving even after I knew she had already left. I do not know if that makes me generous or foolish. I do not know if it makes me strong or weak. Maybe it does not matter. Maybe I was just doing the only thing I knew how to do whenever else had already been taken. I still have the letter. I keep it in the box with Kevin's things. I do not read it anymore. But I know it is there. And somehow that is enough.